single time there's a y-intercept on a graph, x equals 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. X equals 0. That's what we know. The x-intercept, y always equals 0, and for the y-intercept, x always equals 0. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. What are we going to find first? How about the x-intercept? Perfect. So I'm going to find the x-intercept. Okay, and what do I know? I know that y equals 0, so I'm going to write that. Okay, so I'm going to write this form, which just so happens to be in standard form, which is super exciting. 4x minus 3y equals 12. Okay, and what do we know? We know that y equals 0, so all I'm going to do is substitute 0 in for y. I'm going to go 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. And then just solve from there. 3 times 0 is 0. So I end up with 4x equals 12. And then I'm just solving to get x. This is 4 times x. I'm going to use the inverse operation, which would be divided by 4 to both sides. And we get x equals 3. So what that means, it means a couple things. It means that the x-intercept is equal to 3. Okay, that's what that means. And it also means there's a point on the graph. The point on the graph of the x-intercept is actually when the x value is 3 and the y value is 0. Awesome. So I can graph that right here in my lovely, lovely graph. Okay, so my x-intercept is 3, 0. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 0. So right here, that is my x-intercept. Right there. Okay, so I'm just going to plot that point right there. Let's call it my x-intercept. Let's label the point and say, hey, this is 3, 0. That's kind of a little 3. Okay, x-intercept right there. Woohoo, we found it. Okay, on to the next one. Let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. All right, so to do that, let's go ahead and do it. So now we're going to find the y-intercept. Oh, come on, pen. Work for me. The y-intercept. Now I'm writing in invisible ink. I don't want to write in invisible ink. I want to write in real ink. Okay, so we'll go green. Y-intercept. Okay, and what do we know about the y-intercept? Well, we know that whenever we're finding the y-intercept, we know that x equals 0. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write the original equation. 4x minus 3y equals 12. And we are going to substitute 0 in for x, because if we want to find the y-intercept, what we know is we know that x is always 0. So if we substitute 0 in for x and we figure out what y is, then what we have found will be the y-intercept. So here we go. We know that 4 times 0 is 0. So we're left with negative 3y equals 12. And then we're just going to divide both sides by negative 3. And we end up with y equals 12 divided by 3 would be negative 4. And this is our y-intercept. So I'm going to say my y-intercept equals negative 4. And this is the point. X is 0. And y is negative 4 because my point is x, y. All right, this is the x and that's the y. And now I can graph this point. Okay, I'm going to graph the point. This is going to be my y-intercept. It is 0, negative 4. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. And that is right here. This is my y-intercept. Come on, pen. Come on, keep writing for me. What is up with these pens? Why do they stop writing in the middle of a video? Don't they know how messed up that is? That is so wrong and inconsiderate. Oh, okay, there we go. Starts writing again. The y-intercept and the point is 0, negative 4, right there. Okay, so now we have our x-intercept, we have our y-intercept. All we need to do is graph them together. And there we go. That is the equation of our line right there. That is it. So super easy to graph once you find the x-intercept. So we found that the x-intercept was 3, and then we plotted that there, and then we found that the y-intercept was -4. That's when it intercepts the y-axis, and then we just, it's like connect the dots, and there you go. You have an equation for the line. So great job. Now it is time for you to try this out. So you are going to have to do 3 things. You're going to have to find the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and then graph it. So go ahead and try this problem out. And first we need my friend, but I left him in the closet. Where's he at? Where's my friend? I have to go run across the classroom to go find him. Here he is. Here he is, our friend, the pause dragon, reminding us that we must, what must we do? We must pause our device and then come back and check to see how we did. All right, see you in a bit. Bye. All right, we are back, and we are going to solve this equation. Okay, we got to find the x-intercept. Well, what I know with the x-intercept, I know that y is always equal to 0, and the y-intercept. And what do I know about the y-intercept? I know that x is always equal to 0. Okay, so find the x-intercept and the y-intercept of a line, boomity boom boom boom, which is in standard form. Use the intercepts to graph the equation. I can do it. Okay, first one up, x-intercept. What do I know about the x-intercept? Well, the y equals 0. So we're going to go ahead and write down this equation in standard form. Substitute 0 in for y. And we are left with 8x equals 24. Oh, my 8 is not very good. Then we're going to divide both sides by 8. And we end up with x equals 3, which means that the x-intercept equals 3. And we've just found the point, 3, 0. Because this is our x-intercepts 3, and this is our y is equal to 0. So let's go ahead and graph this lovely x-intercept where it intercepts the x-axis. 3, 0 would be 1, 2, 3, right there. I'm going to make a really big point because I'm kind of excited about it. Okay, and hopefully you got that one right. On to the next one. We are doing the y-intercept, and this is what intercepts the y-axis. Okay, so what we know that x is always 0 along this line. X is always 0. So write the original equation, 8x minus 6y equals 24. Substitute 0 in for x. We get 8 times 0. Minus 6y equals 24, and then that is equal to 0. We're left with negative 6y equals 24, and then this is multiplied, so we do the inverse operation because we're trying to get y by itself, and we divide by negative 6 to both sides. And what do we end up with? We end up with y equals, what is that? 24 divided by 6 is 4, and it's negative. It's a negative 4, which means our wonderfully magnificent y-intercept is equal to negative 4, which leads us to the point. The x part is 0, and the y is negative 4. It's that point. This is our x, this is our y, and then we graph it, okay? I'm at 0, and I go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go. That is our y-intercept. Now it is time for us to connect the dots. And we have graphed our beautiful, lovely, pink, sparkly line. And I know that yours is pink, sparkly as well. Actually, it's probably not. But that's okay. Ours is. And there we go. That's the line. That's a picture of the line 8x minus 6y equals 24. So that's how you graph when you find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. You plot those 2 points and just draw a straight line there, and there you go. All right, I hope you did it right. If you did, yokiniki mashita, you did a good job. I will see you next time. Bye.